I'm Don Corey. I'm an executive at
Of course, it's important for you to work hard. Don't get me wrong there. So if you're looking for shortcuts, you won't find much of that on this video. But I'll do my best to tell you what's possible and what's not when you're applying to universities in this country, especially. So at least you'll know the easiest, if not the best way to save on your study and your expenses. Now, when I tell people that I did my MBA in the US for free, sometimes they look at me and they wonder if I'm actually joking or I'm serious. So I'm doing this video to actually tell you that I got admits from 4 ranked US universities, and I literally got 100% scholarship from one of them. Now, for me, that was the best thing ever, right? The US is one of the sought after destinations to study, but it can get quite expensive, especially when you're converting from your local currency and you're spending it in US dollars. So if you're asking yourself the question, am I really crazy to spend all my money, go study in the US? And here's the thing, if you like getting out of your comfort zone, understanding another culture, if you like making friends, making a lot of amazing friends from across the globe, and you like traveling in general, then without doubt, you're not crazy. You're like me. In fact, it's something I would say you should definitely consider. And I would recommend that for sure. So here's my story on how I got accepted from 4 schools. And I got a full scholarship from one of them, right? So I was back in India sitting with my computer trying to put the same search keywords that you must have put in to get to this video. And I happened to stumble upon one of my friend's friend on Facebook who actually received a full scholarship in the US. And I immediately picked up the phone and I called him to know more. And I was shocked to learn that this was actually possible, that too for an MBA program. So I finally got to my research and I decided to apply to 6 institutions, and I had split it out. 2 of those were dream programs where I knew I had a very slim chance of getting through, like less than a 10% acceptance rate, and 2 of them were actually safe programs where I knew I could get an admit for sure. And to my surprise, I got through one of my dream options, which was Yale University. It's a prestigious Ivy League school. I know most of you know. It's in the Northeast United States, and it's famous for its business and its law programs. And then one of my safe options was Bentley University, which is it's more of a small private university in Boston. Bentley actually has a beautiful campus, and surprisingly it's #1 for undergrad placement, so it felt like an obvious safe choice. And that's how you want to think of all your choices. You want to know what they have to offer. And I knew that Bentley would 200% accept my profile because I had wonderful grades. I was a bright student, thank you to all my stars, but to my surprise, Bentley actually threw in 100% scholarship for my MBA. Surprised, right? Yes, I mean, that was a moment of realization that such things happen in real life. And Yale would have cost me about $40,000 per year after financial aid, and which was definitely a no-go for me, right? And that means over the course of 2 years, I would have literally spent something around $80,000, and that too not including travel, not including whatever I wanted to eat out with friends or live in a decent apartment, all of which would actually leave me close to $100,000 in debt by the time I graduated. Which is ridiculous. So thankfully, before I accepted my offer with Yale, I actually received the scholarship from Bentley. It was, and it was very hard for me to get over the fact that I'm letting go of a prestigious school like Yale. But now when I look back, I know that I made the best decision of my life. Yale would have set me back by a lot of money, at least $100,000, and I would have actually spent close to 2 years at that university, versus Bentley actually was a 1 year MBA program, and it let me focus. Some students making noise, and it actually helped me focus on my career. I interviewed with a lot of companies, I attended tons of fairs, networking events, and by the time I completed my MBA at Bentley, I actually had 3 offers. So I'll make a separate video on my life at Bentley for sure. You'll find a link in the description. So if you're in the same boat as I was, you should try your best to actually convince universities to give you a decent scholarship. A lot of times the scholarship application actually needs to be submitted separately than the admissions application itself. So you should not hesitate to ask people questions, be it the admissions office or even me. Like, send me your comments and I'll reply. But know what these different ways are to apply for scholarship, and people will really appreciate. The admissions office really likes it when you're asking them for more clarity around scholarships. They know you're serious, and they know that you're trying to get the best deal. And also, don't apply to like 30 institutions. Be smart. Pick up 6 to 8 schools, and they should range from like hard to get institutions to easy to enter institutions, and you're pretty much across the spectrum. And make sure you let the admissions offices know of your intention to study there, so that you get the most bang for your buck. But please do that. Reach out to them on email, on phone, however you can. Take help. Ask about all your questions on scholarships, on internships, etc. And as much as possible, you should push for merit-based or need-based scholarships, because they have no strings attached. Literally, all the 6 schools I applied for, I was always asking them what's the best way for me to get the scholarships. I'm from India, don't have a lot of money, my parents cannot pay for it, but I really deserve it. Here's why, right? And I got the scholarships even before I started the program. And a merit-based scholarship or a need-based scholarship is the best way to save and the easiest way to save, because you don't have to do anything extra to earn those scholarships. You might have to maintain a certain grade point average throughout your program, but that's pretty much it. Mine did not even have that criteria. They really literally gave me that scholarship with no targets, but that's rare, right? But that's the best way to get funded. Now, there's other ways, like there's assistantships where you can work under a professor, or you can work for a department for a few hours and it gives you a discount on your payments. And as a student, you're allowed to work 20 hours per week if you get something called a CPT, which we will talk about in a different video. But that will allow you to get some discounts on your payments as well. But as much as possible, like I said, merit-based scholarship is the best way to go. And if it's 100%, great, right? So now, what's the most important thing when it comes to scholarships? Timing. Timing is everything, guys. Universities don't give out free money all year round. You should know your dates. You should know that even in your sleep. And the biggest intake in the US typically happens around the fall of each year, which is July. But applications open almost a full year in advance. So by around November or December, typically most schools will end their round 1 scholarships, after which the probability of getting a good financial aid goes down and down. It gets even more difficult. So make sure that you apply before November, December of each year for the next fall cycle. Now, if you miss the first 6 months of the application cycle, you will lose out on a lot of free money. So remember, even food, living, traveling, all of these cost a lot of money. They take a big chunk out of your pocket. So the more scholarships you get, the better. So trust me, you will thank me for pushing you so much to get those scholarships, because you will use that money to do a lot of fun things. You travel. I did a lot of travel across the US because now I could afford it thanks to my scholarship. I even got a second-hand car. So I left my awesome job in India with a lot of gut and with a lot of determination. I thought, I'll do better if I go to the US and I find something of my own. And I actually started my own company here. So that's been a blessing. I took a leap of faith, and I encourage all of you to do the same. It's been 6 years and I came to the US, I got my job here, I now started the company. It's called iSchool Connect, by the way, and iSchool Connect actually focuses on helping students find the best programs abroad. If you need a free consultation with us, please register on the website. It's called www.ischoolconnect.com.